for me, entrepreneurship has always been the way.
Investing is important because it's the only way you are going to be able to get rich and wealthy for your family. We can close the wealth gap by working together.
Market Monday is the biggest investment show ever.
My life has literally changed since watching EYL.
When you can make people money and you can add value, they're going to be forever indebted to you.
And I promise you this year, I'm going to make y'all even more money.
Disclaimer, do your own research. Our content is intended to be used and must be used for informational purposes only. It's very important to do your own analysis before making any investment based on your own personal circumstances. You should take independent financial advice from a professional in connection with, or independently research and verify any information that you find on our show and wish to rely upon, whether for the purpose of making an investment decision or otherwise. Let's build our knowledge, our community, and our brokerage accounts. Love is love. Love is love.
Yeah.
Happy Monday, we back.
We back.
We back.
Oh,
the rumors are not true. We did not have a fight. We did not break up. I was sick. Thank y'all for the love.
We back. We back in a major way, man. How you feeling?
I'm blessed and highly favored. Shout out to the interview y'all did with Charlemagne. Ooh. To get it all in one lump sum. Ooh, boy. Public service announcement. Ian Schwartzman and Charlemagne need you at InvestFest to talk about the power of media. I'm going to weaponize my relationships right now. Stephen A. Smith, once you get off the Republican side, you can come back home. But Ian Schwartzman, my brother, and Charlemagne, my brother, need you at InvestFest for this conversation on media.
Yeah, Charlemagne. We had Charlemagne last year. Epic conversation. We just did the episode. So, yeah, definitely salute to Charlemagne. That was a lot of gems. If you haven't watched the episode yet, you should check it out.
It's a good one.
A lot of gems, a lot of information on that one for sure, man.
You know, when you get the text messages, it's like a week after you still getting the text messages. Like we just got text messages like 10 minutes ago about it. It's one of those ones that at least at the bare minimum has sparked conversation about what we can do. Maybe some things we need to change to make situations better. So if a conversation can do that, then you hit the mark. You hit the mark. It was a dope one.
Yeah, for sure. So we back this Thursday. Blackout is Wednesday at 9 o'clock. Blackout Wednesday, 9 o'clock. Troy pinched hit last week. We had oh
man,
first episode on Blackout.
I got a lot of good points, man. I appreciate you allowing me to get some points out here. Yep. They were saying, "Oh my God, I love how he loves his brand."
Yeah, it was great. And I can't wait to get there. But I'm not. So this Wednesday,
right in time for this week,
back the other way and be toxic before Valentine's Day.
Oh my God, right in time for this week, man. I'm in a good algorithm. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for letting me get some stuff off. That was dope.
I took some notes though.
Yeah. So this week we back with the Valentine's Day edition of Blackout. We're gonna be talking about Super Bowl, Bad Bunny. We're gonna be talking about Trump's racist video.
Can we have a moment of congratulations for Benito?
Yeah, shout out to Benito.
Number one all time.
Shout out to Benito. Yep.
All the Boricuas out there. Salute. And don't forget to get the book in Spanish. You have it?
It's at the other crib.
Man.
Light flex. Mas casas.
Mercia Rico. Mercia Rico. You Deserve to Be Rich is now in Spanish.
That's fire.
All the Spanish speakers out there, all the Latinas. Salute. Yeah, that was a big episode.
Yeah.
Big performance. So shout out to Benito. Congratulations.
For sure. Appreciate all the
Blackout.
Say it again?
Just 1 week. A Dykeman tour. Just 1 week.
Different locations.
Pop up.
Yeah, man. I talked about the forensic scientists on Wednesday, but like the forensic scientists after the performance, were much appreciated. Obviously, the language barrier, but the sentimental value and the meaning behind all the things that I saw was like, all right, that's dope. I even appreciated the performance even more. Yeah, so shout out to them.
The performance was great. And for those who may not love the performance, I was walking in the studio. I said, "Yo, y'all love the Macarena 15 years ago." And Shakira just performed fucking 5 years ago. What was all this? And the Kid Rock performance was not great. For all the TPUSAers, that was not a great performance, by the way.
Yeah. Shakira had a guest by the name of Benito. What did she perform?
Money.
Shout out to them.
So yeah, we got a lot. Thursday, 12 o'clock, we got our Earn Your Leisure episode. Jazz Levert. So he's interesting because he got the celebrity dog training business. He had a show on Netflix, and he's trained like Steph Curry. He's trained his dog. He's trained Kendrick Lamar, his dog. He's
the Jenners.
Yeah,
everybody.
He's a celebrity dog. There's always a way to make a dollar out here.
For sure.
He talked about, actually coming up as celebrity dog trainer. Best practices to train your dog. Common mistakes that people make. Funnel systems and different things of that nature. So, yeah, shout out to him, man. That's Thursday. And then also on Thursday, we will be in DC, Capitol Hill tour. We got the mastermind for anybody that took advantage of that. The Market Mondays, Black Friday deal. So we're going to be in DC. We're going to be talking to pretty high leadership.
Few members.
In the Congress. We're going to be talking to Congress. And then mastermind session as far as presentation on stocks, investing, and artificial intelligence. So it's going to be dope all day affair in the nation's capital. Man, membership has its perks.
Yeah. Speaking of membership, this Sunday Stock Club call, we didn't have one this past week celebrating Xander's birthday in the Super Bowl, but we will be back at Sunday at 9 p.m. Central. If I made you money, please put yes in chat. Let's have an amazing show.
So let's get into it. What's the investment fact of the week?
I have two.
Investing. What's the investing fact of the week?
I have two really good ones. Number one, revolving credit, which includes credit cards, has jumped to 13.8 billion, from 13.8 billion to 1.3 trillion, the highest since November of 2022. I keep saying this year reminds me a lot of 2022. This is the largest increase since 2023. And point number two, AI stocks are just destroying software. From the highs, Figma's down 85%, Trade Desk is down 78%, Atlassian is down 68%, Rubrik is down 51%, CoreWeave is down 52%, Iron is down 46%, Astera Labs is down 35%, and Palantir is down 35%. This is reminding me a lot of 2022. The cause is different, of course, but the drops that we're seeing this year are eerily similar to 2022, and we'll talk about it more later. But if you are investing into software companies, now is not the time with AI being so aggressive and eating their moat.
You left Salesforce out of there, man.
I try not to be a bully all the time. I'm gonna stop, but yes, they are down. Yeah. AMD down 22%, Broadcom down 20%. Software as a service, I'm not saying it's dying, but the AI is a considerable threat to that entire category, for sure.
Yeah, I think the interesting point. AMD, Broadcom, obviously in the semiconductor space, the software space is interesting because and I think Jensen, when he spoke, he was doing a lot of speaking last week, partly because I feel like the Super Bowl was in Santa Clara and they're like right there adjacent to it. So a lot of things are going on. But he kind of gave a vote of confidence for the software sector because if you've ever heard him talk about his 5 layers of artificial intelligence, right? Like there's obviously the infrastructure, there's the applications and who builds the applications, the software. So will software have its time? Yeah, it'll have its time. In fact, he said it almost feels like it's a ridiculous thought to think that software won't have a moment inside of AI. In fact, AI should help enhance it for the people who own it. I just think at this point, the sentiment around it, a lot of times people were like, well, what's happening? The sentiment around it is not in its favor, right? So like if you're in these companies, it'll have a moment. It's just not this moment, but it definitely is a part of that 5-layer tier of infrastructure, scalability, all the energy, all those things that are needed to have this thing work. Application is there. I think somebody was comparing it. We were having a conversation there. Like the internet was something that was invented, right? And Meta came, which was built as an application on top of it. On top of it. And so we're still in the phase of building the AI infrastructure. The applications will come, the software will come. It's just an interesting time right now.
Yeah, but on top of that, we have to. Jensen's doing a masterful job of not turning the market more negative than what he is. He's pretty much the president of all things chips, software, and tech right now.
Yeah.
Because if he said software is screwed, the overall market would have slid probably 15%. Look at Spotify, though. 2 interesting comments. Jimmy Iovine said that he thinks that the end of streaming is going to come in the next 5 years. And then I was looking at my emails, and Spotify is going to selling books. I said, okay, if you have a stranglehold in the music industry and you're getting the remaining 29% that Universal and Warner let you get, why would you go to a completely different market? Well, if AI and the inclusion of AI is going to erode a lot of your business, it may be time to pivot. So I just thought it was an interesting fact that one of the biggest streaming services on earth is going to a completely different category that is outside of the normal category in which they're dominant in. So
yeah, I think you're spot on in that analysis. I just had this conversation with some guys who were in the industry, and they were saying the same thing when I was explaining to them CapEx spend versus revenue that's being brought in from it. And so that's an issue for them, right? How do they generate more revenue? And so you start thinking of different verticals that you do it that are not in the realm of what you're doing, right? And so like that, the book thing is, and that was like a damning statement for everything that Jensen
for sure. For it to come from him, yes,
to come from him is a damning statement for that. But when you start to see the tide turning, when you see like a guy like what LaRussell's done, shout out to LaRussell, I know he had a hell of a weekend out in the Bay. But even what J. Cole did when he decided to put his the mixtape on Even, right, which is like directly to consumer, directly back to me. You've cut out the Spotifys. You've cut out Apple. You don't have to go through them in that sense. And if people follow that model, I know Meek is talking about, he's been talking about that a lot. Like, how are we going to do this and be successful from an independent route? Now that the technology has advanced and it's actually here, yeah, it's going to change the landscape a little bit. And so they have to figure out different ways to generate revenue.
And the issue is that the top half of 1% of artists are getting the lion's share of the money. So even in that, I'm not saying that it's a Ponzi, but the way it's structured, there's no equal weighted distribution of capital that's coming in. So even the adjustment in going into the podcast space, which I don't know if the Rogan experiment worked out the best, but they've had a bunch of celebrities. Well, Ian and Charlemagne talked about it, right? On the great interview you guys did. That's a lot of CapEx spend there too, to get a certain level of attention, and I don't know if they gotten the return there. So I just think it's an interesting time for software, and everyone is having to retool their business at one time.
Yeah, the perfect analogy. Exactly. How are we getting return on the spend?
Yeah.
It's a fact. Also, happy Black History Month. February.
Thanks.
We're in it.
Kudos to y'all for making Black History. Be honest. Clap it over there.
Black History every day.
For real.
Black History every day. So, had to pay homage with the Black History color sweaters. But yes, Black History Month in full effect for those that have tried to suppress it.
Every day.
Still here.
Let's make history. Every day.
What's the trading tip of the week?
I want to be very clear. I want to follow up from the one I gave last week. But well, let me say this first. If you can't look at the market with your setup and decide within 60 seconds where to get in, your process is too complicated. Make it simpler. Point number 2 for my futures traders. I want you to have the courage that options traders have. Something pissed me off last week, and it's not the person who said it, but a person said, hey, the average person can't trade 23 contracts in futures. Most people can only trade 1. And I'm like, if you look, this is one thing I love about the options community. Once they have conviction behind an investment, you guys are going all in. There's no one contract conversation with most people. And there are people who are just started maybe a year ago who are now trading 10 to 15 contracts. But I know futures traders that have been in for 5 years and they're still trading 2 to 3. At some point, You have to size up. And then Rashada posted, I got 1,000% while getting a jacuzzi. Then some of y'all get mad. At some point, futures traders, you have to size up. And another thing, I'm not talking to the average person. I'm talking to those who want to be exceptional. 23 contracts at 500 is not a lot of money in. It's 11.5. A lot of you are spending 11,500 on Van Cleef for this Valentine's Day, and come spring break, that girl's leaving you. I want you to put more capital into the things that will pay you well, and I want my futures traders to begin to have courage, chutzpah, and balls like the options traders. It's a bunch of options traders who are less than 3 years in, who have made hundreds of thousands or millions, and you are on Ninja or TradingView still trading for. You deserve to be rich, Rico, right? So, to the brother, thank you for the comment because it inspired this. But at some point, you have to size up. At some point, it has to go from a show to festival. That's a size up. At some point, you have to go from this is my zone of fear, and I'm going to operate out of that zone to get to the actual financial level that I want to get to. So my second tip is I want futures traders to have the courage that options traders do.
Amen. Yeah, I think what we saw last week was, in addition to that, what we're seeing in traders, especially in our communities, is the fear factor is gone.
Mm-hmm.
Like we saw a 2% pullback in the Nasdaq, right? We saw the Dow pullback, and it was volatile last week. And I didn't hear any chatter like, "Hey, I'm selling off my position," or "I'm cutting my losses here." It was
I can't believe I got in. Yep.
I can't believe I did this.
It was elation.
It was like, "Hey, it's on sale. Let's go grab the positions that we thought that we wanted that are now available." Right? We couldn't wait for these prices. Now they're here, and a lot of people executed. And then you look at Friday, and it's like, "Oh, this is why we had that discipline. This is why we buy time. This is why we buy assets at depreciated prices and options contracts at depreciated prices, because we know eventually if we're in a strong company and we have time on our side, it's usually going to work out in our favor." So yeah, shout out to everybody that showed discipline last week. Everybody that had their seatbelt on and didn't take their seatbelt off. It was a roller coaster ride, but once you experience it, and shout out to Chris Johnson. I was watching a post he put up about not skipping any steps, right?
Yep.
So when you had $1,000 in and the 1,000 went to 500, how did you feel, right? You had that risk mitigation inside of that, then you went up to 5,000 and that went down to 3, and how'd you feel? You don't skip any steps. The people who come in and say, "I got 10,000 and then that goes to 5, and they're like, "I'm out of here." You've skipped some steps on that way, on that journey, right? That you learn a certain level of tolerance. You learn a certain level of financial discipline and emotional discipline when it comes to your finance when you see that happen. So when it pulls back like it did last week and there's volatility like there was last week, there's not the same overreaction. There's not that same angst. There's not that same fear of like, I'm going to lose it all. It's like, okay, we've been here before. We've seen it before. How do we execute and be better? Which I think
grow a tougher skin to it.
Man.
Imagine if every time you're on a plane, you hit turbulence, you go to the front of the plane and then you jump out of the plane, but out of fear. That's what a lot of you are doing in your trading and investing journey. There's a certain level of thick skinness that you'll go through as a trader. Don't get me wrong. The drops are not fun if you are on the wrong side of them. But like you said, for the drops that happen, and we'll talk about Bitcoin in a bit and how it bounced off of that level, you have to hold your positions long enough to go through the turmoil to know how it's going to pan out. Stop closing your trades out early. A lot of you are getting in, panicking, closing out, and then I get the messages, "Hey, I know we bounced off this level. What do I get in now? I gave you the price." You would have been in profit within 3 hours, but you have to hold through the turmoil. Put it in chat. I have to hold through the turmoil.
Yeah, and I'm happy when it happens because people get to experience it. Some people get to experience for the first time. Sometimes it's the 5th time, but you're experiencing it.
Yep.
And so now, once you experience it, now you have experience.
Absolutely. And then you won't panic. And then you too could go build from scratch and make your dreams come true. Like the thing that's so dope, even in you guys like to master media, and then like this is the crazy part. Shawty don't even call me by this trades no more. Yo, I'm good. That's dope to see. Like, yo, this price dropped to this level, man, we down 48%. I know this shit has to shoot up. Great. Why are you, if you're in chat, if you've been here longer than 2 years, why are you not exercising the same discipline? This is probably the easiest the market has ever been due to corruption and certain levers being pushed in the market. For my futures traders, I'm begging you, have more balls in your trades. That Friday trade, some of you should have knocked out 40, 50 grand, but you closed too early.
Friday, yeah.
Cojones. You got to have some cojones out here.
For sure.
And with that being said, get your tickets to Invest Fest.
Hey.
August 7th through August 9th in Atlanta. You know, it's kind of crazy because you watch the Super Bowl every year and it's like, who's going to be at the Super Bowl? Like, who's going to be, what teams are going to play, but also who's going to perform? That's like people are looking forward to. Same way at Invest Fest. Who's gonna, we know that the usual suspects will be there. Earn Your Leisure, Ian Dunlap, 19 Keys. You can pencil that in. But who's going to be, you know, we had Tyler Perry. We had Diddy. We had Steve Harvey. You can pencil him in as well. He's a regular.
Yeah, irregular. Icon still, but regular.
We had 50 Cent.
Classic.
We had Magic Johnson.
Classic.
Incredible.
What will 26 bring?
I ain't got no text about it, so I can't say nothing, y'all.
But get your tickets, investfest.com, get your vendor booths, get the vendor booths. That's important. All right. The moment we all been waiting for, Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, we talked about Bitcoin on the Monday last week show. As far as it was a few things that led into the Bitcoin conversation. The first, I put the post up on Instagram where it was saying, I said last year that Bitcoin follows historical patterns of 4-year cycles, and it was pretty much destined to fall this year. And then on the show, you said Bitcoin is going to fall to 63,000. And then it was kind of falling this whole week. And then Friday, it just kind of fell off. Was it Friday or Thursday? Thursday, it fell off a cliff. And it felt like $10,000 in one day almost. Like it almost reached, I think it reached 60,000.
Yeah, I think we right there, right before we got to 59. It
60,005. Yep.
And then it shot back up. Now it's hovering around 69,000,
70,400.
70,000 currently. So it's been. But my thing is this: on Thursday, when you see any quality asset that you think is a quality asset, I think you have to buy at least some of it when it hits a 52-week low. So it hit
only if it's a quality though.
Yeah, quality.
For those you listen,
That's not to say that it can't go lower, because it can. Any asset, that's just not even speaking about Bitcoin, it can. But if you see an asset down over 50% and it hits a 52-week low, I think you got to at least have some level of interest in it. So when you saw that 52-week low, I think anybody with any level of interest in Bitcoin or any level of belief system in Bitcoin, I think you had to be some level of excitement to say, okay, this is an opportunity to put some money into this thing. And like I said, I mean, not to say that it's only going to go up from here, because that's not even how it traditionally has worked. But I think if something is down 50% and it hits a 52-week low, even if it still goes lower, long term, you're going to make money if you hold long term. That's going to be difficult, I think, not to make money.
Yep.
So, all right. So, is the Bitcoin sell off? Is the whole crypto industry sold off? And like I said, it's some level of recovery. So, Bitcoin sell off still, or recovery phase, or what's the deal?
Kudos to you who were able to get in. I appreciate you. If I made you money, please put yes in chat. I do think there's some more pain to come. I think it would be like a short dead cat bounce. I can see it going back above Sailor's average price of 76,868 and then coming back down. I think we'll hover around for this month and probably won't start to take off until March. One thing people have to realize, not for all firms, but for some firms, when the new money is coming in for clients, they don't usually start to deploy large chunks of that money until March. That's why if there's a recession, the tail end of March will give you an indication how quickly the money is inflowing or outflowing. So while it was a good entry, I do think that we could pull back, and I think we may retouch 65 and some change at some point this month, but I think we'll have a slow push up. It's a couple of factors too. The market right now is not safe. I just illustrated that AI is eating the software world apart, and that's tying into some of the crypto world as well. Like you said, the 4-year cycle is really important. Another thing that we have talked about, but I don't think people are talking about enough, is the pressure that they're trying to put on Michael Saylor. So he's not at a point where he's going to be forced to liquidate at all, but I do think they're trying to make it harder for him to keep the fanfare that he has. And once again, as I said before, it reminds me a lot of the attack that Cathie Wood went under. So I think for this month, we'll have another pullback. We'll eventually break out of that level, though, around March or April. And then we will start to soar back into the 90s. And eventually by summertime, I think we'll be back to that other area that I called of 113, and we'll be good. But the big lesson here for a lot of investors, that Rashad said it without directly saying, wait to an area where there's asymmetric risk where you can't lose. Like that 60,000, 63 level, it's a historic price to be able to get in a year, you'll be elated. Same as last April when we were screaming, hey, to get in. It's just going to take a little bit of time, maybe 2 or 3 months for it to pan out for you to be up 50 or 60% in your favor.
Yeah, there's a couple of factors. You touched on the text piece, and traditionally we've seen Bitcoin kind of trend the way that AI trade has trended. And so when we saw a pullback like we did Thursday, you saw a pullback in that as well. And then it was like, hey, the dollar showed a little bit of strength, and so that works against Bitcoin's favor. But I think the other thing is that people actually trade Bitcoin. And so when people trade, people have stop losses, right? And so I think toward the end of January, you saw some people come out of their positions, shorten their positions. It was like $3 billion of outward flow in Bitcoin at the end of January. You saw a single day event of a liquidation of $1 billion. When you start hitting some thresholds, right? People who bought it at 85 or 87 might have put that stop loss at 78, right? And so you see that drop from, and I know we talked about, you just said it dropped like $10,000 in a day. Well, if it starts hitting that stop loss and people are pulling out, and we start watching that
forced liquidation,
oh yeah, the forced liquidation is going to happen. Then people are going to say, oh, there's a massive sale. Okay, I got to figure mines out. And it hit that 63 mark. It's crazy. I was on the phone with Alex Good Energy. Shout out to Alex Good Energy.
Shout out to Alex.
We were talking about Bitcoin. I'm like, I wouldn't be surprised if it hit 61 at some point. And he was like, wow. And I was telling him the same things I'm saying right now. And then it hit it. And I'm like, yo, this would be a good time, right? And a lot of people think, oh, it's 60,000. I need to have 60,000 to buy a Bitcoin. I'm like, no, right? You buy what you can.
You can decide what you can afford.
If you got $100, you can invest $100, right? The percentage is going to be the percentage. If that goes up to 100,000, then you've made whatever percentage that is on your $100. If you invest in the asset, you believe in the asset, and you want to have some exposure to it, you can have a small allocation. You don't have to buy one Bitcoin. Would it be nice to do that? Of course, but you don't have to. You can have fractional positions inside that. So just keep that in mind as well.
Well, you can also buy the ETF, IBIT. There's a few ETFs, but IBIT is the biggest one. BlackRock's ETF, which tracks Bitcoin, but is on the stock market, gives you more. It gives you regulations and gives you certain security aspects that Bitcoin does not have. So that's another way to get Bitcoin exposure if you don't want to invest in Bitcoin directly. But yeah, a lot of people, I don't know what they did when they saw Bitcoin drop. You know, whenever you see something drop like that, there's a few things that can happen. You got some group of people is actually happy because they're like, okay, this is my opportunity. Some group of people get greedy and they say, okay, well, 60 is going to 40, so I'm gonna wait. It does sometimes in life it goes to 40, sometimes in life it doesn't go to 40. But that's one group of people. Then the third group of people, panic sellers. They see they lost 50% of their money and they just panic and they just selling because they're like, this thing is going to zero and I need to get out while I still can. And then as soon as you sell it, it goes right back up again. And then the fourth group of people are just the people that stay on the sidelines forever, because once they see this go to 60, they're like, "No, this is definitely gonna go to 0 now," and they just stay away from it. They just
and
stay
it's
away
a
from
lot of that. Wait, it's 20. It's going to 31. I'm like,
Yeah.
why?
You got the people who are still asking what Bitcoin is, right?
True.
Like even that in that education process is still something that, if you look at the ownership of how many people own, it's a small amount of people.
Mm-hmm.
It's still under 10%. So
it's a small private network.
Well, some could look at it that way.
Is Satoshi a title or a leadership?
It could be a conglomerate.
It's an acronym.
Okay.
Do your rabbit hole search if you want to figure that one out.
Forensic scientist, we need you now.
An acronym.
Interesting.
Let's stay out of trouble.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Please.
Okay, let's talk about okay, so before we leave this topic, 48, does Bitcoin drop to $48,000?
Not this month, for sure. No. In order for a Bitcoin to, because the Bitcoin of old that was not tied to the market ever since BlackRock got involved, this is a different animal, going back to the Satoshi title question, right? The market would need to slide another probably 20% to get there. The interesting part is software is being destroyed, and Dow just hit an all-time high today. So we would need to see the general market slide 20% in order for that to happen, but I don't think that will happen this month by any stretch of the imagination.
All right, let's talk about
but if it does fall to the 40s is not the price to buy. I will say that. Tune in next week for the price. If it does, go to there. Where to buy. Back to you, Tron Rashad.
Oh, you said if it drops to 40 is not the price to buy. Because if it drops to 40, it's going to go to 20.
Lower.
We're going further than that.
Okay.
But that goes into that. If you look at the average drop down of Bitcoin in that cycle, right? We've seen 90% pullback. We've seen 75% pullback. We've seen 80% pullback.
I think the average is 70.
Well, right now we're only at 50. So there's still some room.
But then it also has been going less and less. Like it started at 90.
That's what I'm saying. We've seen 90.
Then it went 7. So the average is
a
70.
20% reduction every 4 years.
Yeah.
So
Nasdaq pulled back heavy last week also. Same day. It was blood in the market. And we're going to talk about individual stocks like MU and AMD. But man, a lot of the stocks in Robinhood, we're going to talk about that later. But a lot of the tech stocks pulled back. And this was done mainly because of like another DeepSeek moment. And
partially.
Once again, the fear of an AI bubble has come. And that's something that's been talked about since last year. And fears of not properly having the revenue to match these valuations and not really fulfilling its potential. So that was a moment. A lot of the stocks fell pretty drastically. So was that a buying opportunity for the Nasdaq tech stocks, or was it an early warning of what's to come?
Well, let's not skate over the point that you made. Do we think this is a bubble?
No.
If we're just going off of valuation, potential return on CapEx spending outside of the big 7, do we think that Salesforce will emerge from the dead with the use of AI, or companies in that B tier, C tier class?
Which question should we answer? Which question should I answer first?
Is it a bubble? I think that is definitely a bubble.
I don't.
When will a bubble pop is a question.
Yes. Yeah.
And even if a bubble is not necessarily a bad thing though, because it's needed. Because you can't just be inflated. A lot of companies have been inflated that don't deserve to be inflated. It's all based off of expectation, and they don't have the revenue to justify it. That's what causes a bubble. So if the bubble never pops, then it just becomes unsustainable.
All right, hold on. Can we pause?
And they're falling apart anyway. Go ahead.
We got to pause because I think that's the reason why it's not a bubble, because it's not the revenues that's matching it. Every company is making money, right? Like if you look at every company, they beat on their revenue. Look at Microsoft, that beat on their revenue.
Well, let me, because
the big companies, right?
You talking about the big companies.
But
when you're saying a bubble, let me finish. When we say the
Hey
bubble,
guys, let's love each other.
we saying the whole entire space. So there's companies that's not even publicly traded that are getting brought by VC firms for 20x. That's what I'm saying. So it's like the whole entire space is chasing.
What
course,
space are we talking about?
AI, anything that has AI attached to it. So Microsoft, Nvidia, nobody thinks that those companies are not going to be here tomorrow. But the bubble is saying that a lot of people are riding a wave. And these are not even just publicly traded companies, just in general. The space has to come down.
Let's go through ones.
Before you go there, because when we say the entire space, any company that has AI is super generic.
But that's
right?
that's what companies have attached themselves to.
I agree with you. There are bubbles inside of technology for sure in certain sectors in technology. But the overall theme of AI, I can't say it's a bubble because the revenue is not the issue. The CapEx spend we've seen is the issue.
This should look like the metaverse at scale for a lot of these companies.
The CapEx spend is because they can see the forward future potential of if they don't participate, right? So when Meta beats its earnings and has revenue, right, and they now figure out, we can now make revenue off of that CapEx spend, you watch Meta go up. We watch Google say, we've done all this, right? What happens to Google? They say instead of spending 145 billion, we're spending 190. We watch the stock pull back. We saw the same thing with Amazon. Instead of spending 150 billion, we're going to spend 200 billion. We watch that pull back. They're all making revenue. It's just that people are saying, is it going to be is the CapEx going to be justifiable with the amount you're spending? Can you generate it going forward? Your future earnings is what they're looking at. So they're making revenue now. Bubbles inside of it for sure. Private, of course, we've seen that.
Okay, so let's just go through the facts real quick. 60% of VC funding, 60% of VC funding is now going to AI, even though most AI companies have little to no profit. That's a fact. Like I said, you saying that yes, the all-star
elite
companies,
8, 7,
there's a we Market Mondays can start a company right now if we're in Silicon Valley and come up with a thesis and have the right connections and say, okay, it's AI related, and now we can raise $100 million. That's actually what's happening in real time.
Who leads the market?
70. Let me just finish. 70% of AI startups are unprofitable, mainly due to GPU, cloud, and model costs. 70%.
Okay.
70% of these companies are not profitable.
Okay.
Right. That's not a sustainable model. 90 to 95% of corporate AI projects fail to deliver meaningful ROI. Right. And then the list goes on. So
but that's ChatGPT. I'm talking about what I'm saying is coming from the actual facts of reports that these companies are. All those companies.
Saying reports
but let me finish. Can I finish?
Of the Mag 7.
Can I finish?
You're saying reports of the Mag 7.
I'm not.
The space for a bubble to pop it's a more broader. It's still a publicly traded company. It's a top 200 company.
My brothers. I'm sick, my brothers. Hold on.
I'm saying, can I go now? I allowed you to go. Can I go now? Right.
Thank you. But to be clear, I think we're talking about the ones outside of the top 7.
I'm not. So Broadcom is not a top 7.
It's
TSM?
still a top 100, 200 company
so
in the world.
What I'm saying
what we're saying is that there's 100,000 companies.
Can I finish? Is that okay if I finish?
Ian, what's your thoughts?
I'm asking if I can finish. We don't have to. Ian, I'll give you a chance. Can I just finish? Is that okay with you?
Go ahead.
All right, perfect. When you're talking about startups, we're not talking about those companies don't lead the market. We already know that those Mag 7 or that Core 10 or whatever we want to call them, and you can include Lilly inside there as well, and you can include some of these other companies that are leading in that AI space, that data center build out space. Those are leading the market. Of course, there are going to be plenty of startups, and we know that. We're not going to get funded for that, and a lot of them are not going. So are there going to be bubbles inside of it? Of course. Is AI a bubble? No. That's what I'm saying.
Ian, okay, that's your opinion. Ian, what's your thoughts?
I think you guys are arguing 2 different points, but I want to bring it home.
Okay, good.
NVIDIA, is AI technology going to go away? No. Do I think Oracle was overvalued because of it? Figma, Trade Desk, I love y'all at Supermicro. Supermicro had no reason to go up 1,000%. Most people still can't name the CEO of Supermicro or one product that they have. So do I think this will be in phases? Absolutely. Do I think we're in a bubble? Absolutely. Like just the fact that Nvidia and Microsoft have been flat or ranging for a year, there are some signs that they're trying to wash out. It's like the Noah's Ark moment, right? The Elite 10 or Elite 8 will be on the Ark, no pun intended.
Right.
And a lot will be washed out. And now we're going to see phase 2 of the building, right? And then phase 3 in maybe 4 or 5 years. AI as a whole, is it a bubble? No. But do we have some companies that should not have been up 500% because of AI? Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'll make this last point because I'm glad that you brought up the consolidation. So Microsoft has consolidated over the past 2 years, would you say?
Definitely 18 months for sure, yeah.
Okay. Nvidia has consolidated over the last year, would you say?
Yep.
How about Apple?
I mean,
Amazon?
Yeah.
Same
Amazon
thing, right?
Same.
Right?
Yeah.
The Nasdaq has hit an all-time high this year with all that consolidation, right?
I agree.
So that tells you that there's companies that are actually generating revenue and bringing in capital, right? Or else the Nasdaq wouldn't move even when the Mag 7 consolidate.
Yes, but two things can also be true. I'm not like my stance is very clear. Do I think there's a bubble? Yes.
Yeah. I understand.
Yeah. Do I think some companies benefited from AI? Like Salesforce. I love Mark Benioff. I do. He can't sell me that they were a fucking leader in AI when they were turning down the meetings from NVIDIA 4 years ago.
So
they paid the price.
Are you putting the death stamp on Salesforce?
No, but I will also say this: if all of us got $1 million in today from Charlemagne to come with him at Netflix, none of us will put the money in the Salesforce first.
No, that's fair.
I can name 20 companies off the top of my head that would give me a better return than Salesforce, and I think they got comfortable and were behind the 8 ball and reacted too slowly, and then other companies like Lilly came and fucking. How does a healthcare company come in and out tech you, and you're a tech company? That makes no sense to me. But I love Mark Benioff and everybody at Dream.
Yeah, I think it's the timing for them for sure. I think it's the time of it because it feels like AI should definitely what they do as an operational business. AI,
it was like a perfect sense, right?
Perfect sense for them to be like the first adopters, and they should see the most benefit. And that hasn't happened, but maybe it does happen. We'll see.
So, AI bubble, 2 against 1 on that. We'll see what happens.
We're a family. Now, we're not ganging up on each other.
No. I'm saying you think it's a bubble. I think it's a bubble. Troy doesn't think it's a bubble. Only time will tell. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Dan Ives doesn't think it's a bubble.
The second part of the question is it was that the opportunity to buy, or was that a warning of what could potentially happen greater later?
For the Nasdaq, I think it was a 1.5% drop. Like, I think people were too, don't get me wrong, from 25 down to 24 and some change, maybe scary if you're new. That's not a real move down to the downside. Like what we had in March of last year from 21 down to 16,475, that's scary. That's a good opportunity to buy in. And the point that Troy's making that I agree with, the greatest companies are retooling, like Walmart. Walmart doesn't get talked enough about in this. Walmart is doing, in my opinion, a little bit of a better job than Amazon. They're quietly executing, right? So the greatest companies in Nasdaq and Dow are recalibrating for this new era. So there's no need to have all this fear around what the market is going to do. But a 1.5%, 2% drop.
Yeah.
What are you scared about? That's an intraday move. You shouldn't be worried about that at all.
It feels away when you don't have a plan.
Yep,
I think that's
for sure. If any turbulence is upsetting,
it's like, oh my gosh. And I'm only saying that because I've experienced that, right? When like you didn't stick to the plan and it was like, you know what? I said I'm going to sell it at 100%, but it went up to 116. Maybe tomorrow it goes up to 140. And then Thursday happens and you're now at 60%. And you're like, damn, oh my gosh, what should I do now? I might as well just keep the 60% gain because it could go to 10 and maybe I won't have it. And so if you don't have the plan, then it gets a little tricky. But yeah, I mean, I would say it wasn't even, was it worth panicking? No, it was interesting to watch. I think this is another consolidation. If we look at the index itself, if you go back 6 months, if you go back a year, it's been in between this 23,000. It's trying to get over 24,000. Like we like real close. We haven't crossed it yet. And so like, this is natural for it. This is like a natural process. And it's almost a healthy thing to happen.
Yeah, 24,300 is a good area to get in. If you missed that, 24,420 is a good area to get in on Nasdaq if you're riding it to the upside. But all of this goes away if you hold for the long term. A lot of you are trying to take the advice that I give it and apply it to a 1 week option or 1 week swing trade. That's not what we're here for. But if you're here for amazing prices and want to know where to get in, go to ianinvest.com and join the Red Panda Stock Club.
Yeah.
I've put out, I think this month, 75 stocks that all have 3 prices of where to enter. If I made you money, please put yes in chat. If you never want to have to guess about where to get in, where to get out, and don't want to have all this fear about where to invest, come join the stock club. If I made you money, please put yes in chat and listen the first time. Our 1.5% drop is nothing in comparison to what we could see later. And you get the news about where we're going to fall to damn near 2 or 3 months ahead. So
yeah,
I'm joining.
That would worry some a 10% correction would.
It's going to give you a heart attack.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going to happen.
Like some of y'all gonna have a heart attack when I side knock on your door on the 14th.
Easy.
We'll talk about it Wednesday.
Easy.
Stefan, you may have lost the game, but you won the war, my boy. You may have lost the game, but you won the war. Boy can't put his family in the front row.
That's what this is all about? That's what this is all about?
You knew.
We can't even follow each other no more?
Dang, that's crazy.
Damn.
But the breakup right before the Valentine's Day be a vibe, though.
Save you money.
Damn, for sure. I got to go back and watch the episode from last week, Troy. I'm taking more notes. I'm trying to.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Yes. Teach me how to love.
Yes. This is just entertainment. I'm healing and growing.
Show me the way to surrender my heart.
What's the best stocks under $20?
Oh, I love this question. And then after I left Xander's birthday party, I compiled an amazing list of 10 that I thought
you got 10
that would give you a great return.
Oh,
all of them. Okay. So you write this down.
Let's do it.
None.
Yo, that's great. I was like, if you got 10, bro, you like, yeah, you're that guy.
There are none.
It's not a stock, but XRP, that's under $10. That's under.
Definitely. It's a great long-term investment. But as far as publicly traded equities, I went through the list. I went through GPT, Claude. I analyzed myself. There's even just from a warrant standpoint and pre-IPO standpoint, like most people who are getting in may be getting in at $15 or $20. So if you want something great at 20 or below, there's no volume in it and no one wants to buy it. I wish there was. I know we want to recreate the Palantir from 20 to 150 moment. There's not, they're an exception to the rule. There are none that I will put my money into. And I wish it was, because I'm like, man, if this can go from 20 to 200, I look like an icon again, right? There are none.
I'm glad you said that because I was searching. I'm like, I got
you couldn't find one if you wanted to.
I'm not even saying that I would invest in these per se, but I'm looking at it from the standpoint of who might come buy them. What if we did that?
Okay, an acquisition maybe?
This might be something that's worth an acquisition. So I got a list of like 5.
Okay, is open on that list?
So the first one, Warner Brothers Discovery.
Okay.
Which is we already know.
It's an acquisition target.
That acquisition target. So that's under $20. Lyft.
That 27. Yeah. I like the people over at Lyft. So
I talked about this a few months ago.
Who would acquire Waymo or Tesla? Because they're not.
That's the tricky part.
Mm-hmm.
they're not going to sell the Uber, but a competitor that needs the technology of a ride sharing.
Maybe
and you
Tesla.
mentioned a company that makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be an interesting one.
Okay.
Snap, like I said, that social media that they have is still something that is worth. Somebody might find value in acquiring and adding to the portfolio. Ford, legacy company, not that. Just throwing it out there.
I didn't say that.
I'm not saying I'm investing. I'm just saying these are under Mercedes. Now we talked about what they've done in terms of partnership, and we actually firsthand saw their partnership that they announced with NVIDIA. Could they change the way autonomous luxury looks in the future? We don't know. I don't know. Interesting, but it's one that's under. After that, I couldn't find anything.
No,
I really couldn't. Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, it's tough. And to the person who asked the question, is 2 tech, 2 index to build confidence to then build into 7 to 8 stocks? No, you only need 4 good ones. If you rotate to 6, great. If you study any business though, even if you go to Google, Google has acquired hundreds of companies, Microsoft, hundreds of companies. There's usually 4 to 6 that drive 80% of the revenue. Just a behemoth is YouTube that we're on right now. It takes you a while to invest in a bunch to understand that you only need 4. At some point, you can replace the indexes and then just have concentration of 4 companies that you believe in, and then you want to push to have 5 to 10,000 shares of each of that company. But no, you don't want to have 8. Ideally, like 4 to 6 is a sweet spot, because then you can manage all of them properly, not have too much risk on the table, not have them conflict with each other. Some of you will message me and be like, "Hey, I got 16 stocks. What should I do?" My first answer is always pick the 4 that you believe in that will do well for the long term, because it's really tough to manage. Like, you have your own index at that point. There's no need to have 14 or 15 stocks. Then you can pour more capital into them on the drops like we had on Thursday and Friday.
So you don't believe in XRP? Let's get back to that.
I just said it's a good investment long term, my brother.
Would you invest in XRP?
How much money? I have positions in XRP.
Would you invest $10,000 in XRP?
Yeah, yes.
Click down.
Would you invest $100,000 in XRP?
At what price? See, now we got to get prices covered.
Current price.
I'm never doing market order for nothing. Sorry,
but it's
not
down.
market price.
It's down tremendously from its all-time high.
Where you at on XRP? Are you?
I never believed in XRP.
Okay, yeah, all right.
Rashad, every fucking time, my brother. We need to make
XRP
gang. We need you to invest.
Sentiment could have changed.
XRP is a shitcoin.
Whoa.
They're up 33,000% all time.
Yeah, they are.
Don't attack me,
if you got it at 0.0000.
Wait, hold on. When did it turn to shitcoin?
XRP has been a shitcoin.
Rashad, you trolling, my boy. You trolling.
That's the first I've heard. That's the first time I've heard that. Okay.
My boy trying to go viral. Okay. Come on, I'm with you. Oh, right. It's like sweep. So you and Troy get into it, then me and you. Okay, I got you. The fuck you mean XRP or shit going? Clip that up.
The army with me.
All right.
I said this in Stock Club though. If you do have an asset like XRP or your Michael Saylor, you have to know who your enemies are though. You have some big enemies that will thwart you for decades until they can take the asset class over. I know a lot of the Bitcoin maxis who no, BlackRock and the government didn't take it over. The first iteration of it was from Langley. I say that every 2 weeks, and I haven't had a cease and desist yet.
The first iteration of Bitcoin? Of Bitcoin you talking about?
Yes, sir. Once again, is Satoshi a person or a title? Like Pope.
Like Pope? That's allegedly. Who knows?
I know the Dan Pena clip, but it's certain. It's eras. It's eras of the Ming Dynasty. They had a run. Russia had a run. The Island Boy had a run. There's different runs, but what do I know?
No,
Dame Kareem.
stop your run. One of the reasons that they called the gang green.
Clip it up.
The other reason getting the gang of green.
What's the top 3 long-term holdings?
I love this question and hate it at the same time. I'm not going to give you 2 Tech 2 Index, and I'm not going to say Apple and Microsoft. If I had to start today, holding for 5 years, if I have to pick 3, mega cap. 1 would be Amgen. 2 would be Lilly because of the tech exposure. And 3 would be Google. Those provide you almost little to no drawdown, regardless of what the economy is going to do. Amgen and Lilly are going to print money, but especially Amgen. Amgen's like, I can't say a baby Lilly because they're different vocations, but the things that I loved about Lilly, they have the same thing. They're just not as great. Like, it's like Jordan and Kobe. Like, if I can put Jordan and Kobe on the same team, I'm good going to war with anybody.
So
and
what
then
you say?
Google,
You said Amgen? Oh, you
Amgen.
said
No, Amgen, Lilly, and Google are the 3.
So those are your top 3?
If I had to start new today,
Like today,
start
right now,
for the
today?
next 5 years, yeah. Those are
So
the 3.
over Nvidia, over Microsoft.
Who you got? Before I say who you got?
Nvidia, Microsoft, and
And
TSM.
XRP. Rashad said XRP.
And XRP for sure. Well, Bitcoin, if we're not talking just, but if it's just stocks.
Yeah, just stocks.
Just stocks.
If it's just stocks, Nvidia is 1. Google will be 2.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just for the next 5 years.
Yeah, just next 5. Yep.
I don't want to invest in it, but I'm obviously TSM would be in that because that's always been my number 1.
Yeah. Same. That's why I'm saying.
Like
I've said
easy,
it so much.
I think that over the next 5 years, Tesla is going to have a hell of a run.
Even if he leaves?
Why would he leave? He just got the $1 trillion pay package if he hits certain.
I think
milestones.
the metrics that he's going to meet the metrics.
He can meet the metrics and leave to the company that really matter.
But that he has to do it within a certain time frame. He doesn't get to the trillion. I think he has to do it in like 8 or 9 years. So that falls within the range. I think the autonomous, the robotics, what he's now doing in terms of like technology and space, he'll figure out a way to incorporate that. Tesla is just such an interesting proposition for the next 5 years that outside of the ones you guys said, I think the return on that would be pretty interesting, high growth. I wouldn't want to do it, but I think it'll have a hell of a return in the next 5 years.
And sometimes the person in the space will tell you where the economy is going. When he said, we're not a car company, I'm going to robotics.
Straight up.
That tells you the value of software is damn near. I don't like a lot of his political aspersions. I don't like how his daddy acted. Right. I don't like how his daddy raised him. What Elon has done well, though, he knows how to pick a category that's going to dominate for 15 years, though.
That's the line, bro. And that's why I thought it. I'm like, he's telling you straight up, like, yo, this isn't about cars. This isn't about us making cars. In fact, that Model S,
I'm done with the whole sector.
We're done making that. It was nice. It made sense, but we're done with that now. This is where we're going.
But even that is problematic. Hit the like button and share. We're almost at 7,000.
Please.
Even that is problematic to me because, I mean, they're missing numbers on the cars, and now you shift into an industry. Once again, the bubble talk. It's a guess. Some people can raise money and be off of. It goes back to the metaverse
Speculation,
like,
or them.
They saying that there's going to be 100 million humanoid robots. That's what they saying.
That's a large.
They also said that. They also said that real estate in the metaverse was going to be the new frontier. And Snoop Dogg, somebody brought like $1 million for the house next to Snoop Dogg.
Who's they? That's
they
because people was killing Zuck for it. They didn't want to go on that ride with him.
Well, a lot of people did though. A lot of people brought into the metaverse. It wasn't just Zuckerberg. A lot of people was in the metaverse. Heavy. So, I mean, I don't know. I just feel like Elon, like you basing your whole company off of a thesis of what could potentially happen, but what's currently happening. He's disappointing. The cars and he's got himself in a lot of political turmoil. When the Democrats take over, they're not just going to forget everything that he did. He's going to have some level of retribution and payback for this.
Well, he's still got 3 years. And that's the crazy part. So if it's in the next 5, he's still got 3 left.
If XAI, who is XAI merging with?
His other company. It's
Which
already
one?
done. SpaceX.
That would tell you if I got an asset and Sam allegedly stole the baby that I helped create and helped get funding for it, employees, and you do your Super Bowl commercial, and I make a competitive asset and I move it over to SpaceX, it's interesting he didn't move it over to Tesla.
No, exactly, 100%. SpaceX is not. That's the one to me. SpaceX,
That and Starlink, because I think he's going to do the same with Starlink and put XAI, SpaceX, and Starlink into one. That's a company that most people cannot touch. The company damn near untouchable.
I'm not going to comment today, but I will comment next week, and this will make sense when I do it.
Got you.
Yeah,
SpaceX. But we at some point we do have to have that real conversation though. There's luxuries that some people's afforded that other entrepreneurs are not.
100%. Oh, we know
like
that.
the metaverse. I love Zuck. Shout out to everybody at HQ at the Hudson building. But if I delivered that metaverse and that was the losses on it,
there is no second chance. You're not even getting the first chance with the idea. The idea is not getting you a first chance.
Mm-mm.
And we're going to talk about access to capital later on in the episode, but some entrepreneurs are afforded to lose hundreds of billions of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
And then they get rewarded with hundreds of billions of dollars. Other entrepreneurs have no margin of error at all. You lose $1,000 and your life is over.
Mm-hmm.
So Elon, people like him on Wall Street, but you really think that humanoid robots is going to take over the way that like 100 million humanoid robots? You really think that's going to happen?
Take over in what sense?
100 million. I think he said 300 million, something like that.
I don't know. I don't think we're in Terminator. I think obviously in factories, in workforce, does it change? Yeah. Will everybody have it in their homes? I don't think we're there in the next 5 years. I think you'll start to see the signs of how it improves some, like I said, workforce, maybe some forms of life, like some things, some tasks in life. But can anybody afford it? Right? When that first iteration of anything, it's usually super expensive, and there's only a limited people that can afford that price point until they figure out a model that makes sense that the everyday person can have. We're not there yet, but you could. That's where they're headed. You can see all systems are pointing that way. Hold on, maybe we should stop talking about.
Ian, where are you?
Can you guys hear me?
They're trying to get the boy out. Yeah, you know what,
Elon? I'm sorry. My bad. My bad.
Yeah,
but no, do I think there'll be 100 million humanoid robots through one company? Probability is low. Even if you just look at the delivery history of what he said about FSD. But like you said, some creators and founders are allowed to paint a lofty picture that's bigger than the total addressable market.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. Like I said, if I would have pitched the metaverse and it fell, I would have been assassinated. So, saying what the stuff that he get to say, and they criticize the hell out of Obama for putting his feet up on the desk and wearing a tan suit. There's just some liberties that are given, and this is a fact. Like, even I know I may be tough on Tim Cook, Steve wouldn't have missed this AI wave like this. Any other company that missed the AI wave, they're suffering. They're suffering as a result. So
is that a model that can really be a pivot for a company that's a car company now, just to go into uncharted territories and say, okay, this is the play that we're going to do? Robotics.
I think because he's a visionary, he will be able to do it. But I ultimately think that he is going to railroad Tesla. And to the person in the comments who said Starlink is already under ownership of SpaceX, they have, of course, a partnership. But if it was completely owned by SpaceX, you wouldn't be able to invest in both rounds. So they don't solely own it. I do think upon exit, you can put a way in for your shoes to be too big to fill. His are, but it's also a poison pill so that the company does not thrive. Look at what he's done to the value of the company of just the cars in the last 5 years. At one point, people were paying $80,000 and $90,000 for those cars. You can get some of those cars now for $22,000. That's a hard pivot while people are sitting in a financing option and the value of the car is less than the loan that you got.
Yeah, the godfather of AI said that robotics is a once in a generation opportunity, and it has a chance to do work that we do now and will no longer want to do in the future. So he's backing that.
Who?
Jensen.
Yeah, I mean, everybody. I don't think anybody. It's like once again, it's like AI. I don't think anybody's thinking that robotics is not going to play a major part. But I just don't see 300 million robots.
I don't either.
That's a lot. That's
worldwide.
That's like a whole country.
The human robots at factories and stuff like that. Yeah, for sure, they're going to play a major part. But like, just hundreds of millions of robots just walking the streets and just in everybody's household. I don't know. I don't see that happening in 5 years.
No, I don't think it's 5 years. But you think about how many people work in factories. You think about the global impact of that. You're talking like if he's talking about walking outside and it's like I said, is it Terminator? No, but if you're talking about factory work, you're talking about millions of jobs.
But the thing about it is, a lot of those factories have already been replaced by robot, not in the sense of robots like humanoid robots, but machines that do work already. That's already taken away a lot of jobs. So humanoid robots specifically,
different. What we saw with our own eyes when we were on the tour at NVIDIA and when we got to see what they're doing in terms of programming the agentic robots, it was like, damn.
It was amazing. Yep. Especially calibration for different space environments for sure.
Yeah, like this is different.
We'll see. Microsoft, under $400 a buy. What's the deal with Microsoft?
Hold your head, Microsoft.
How far will it go? Once again, will it reach under 400? It's all-time high. Well, 52-week high is $555. It's at $413 now. So it's pretty substantial drop. So what's the deal with Microsoft?
Yeah, that high was in July of last year. It's been a few months. Don't love that. I think they are figuring out how to unwind this open AI relationship and partnership. If it gets to 379.90 or 352, I love it. I love it at 352. Do I think we'll see a bounce from here? Yes. I think what the market wants to see is more headwinds. I don't think they've been behind as much, but let's be very honest. The appeal of open AI is slowly fading. We can talk about the Super Bowl commercial and if you think that their product was a hit or not, but I think people are looking to see more from Microsoft, and I think they'll eventually deliver. But if we're going to be honest, like remember when Rough Riders came out and there was a certain energy behind every project they were putting out at a certain point? Microsoft and Apple don't have that right now. Claude does. Anthropic does through Claude.
But ChatGPT is still way bigger than Claude and Anthropic. As far as chatbots,
For sure.
it's like 80% of the marketplace. Like they still tower that space. They're the biggest in that space by a long shot still.
Hands down. I agree 1,000%. I just don't think, and from what I know from the conversations I've had privately and some that's been posted publicly, Satya and executive leadership are not happy with Sam, and it's reflected in the price. So if I say that I'm going to put clients on Azure with Anthropic while I'm invested in OpenAI, that's not a good sign. That's the Stefan Diggs move.
Is
2 for 1?
Is this
hello?
Is this overblown? Is this Microsoft drop overblown?
I for sure,
right?
For sure.
You think about where obviously far from its all-time high, right? We pulled down over 20% here. You look at its numbers. Yes, again, the CapEx spend has gone up a bit. They said Azure obviously pulled back by 1%. I think they had a 38% growth instead of 39%, which they reported. Yep. So like a slight miss there. The OpenAI story is the story. And sure. I feel like like I said last week, there's just a bunch of companies that are just circling around that story. And the fortune of that, or maybe not the fortune of that, will determine how they will appreciate throughout 2026. And if they don't have a clear plan, I know that, there's the ads about like, hey, we're going to add revenue and why are we doing revenue? But I think they're just trying to figure out how to bring some money in and to start appeasing to some of its investors. Because if they continue at this rate, Obviously, Google has come into the space with their AI, and we can talk about the photography. We can talk about video. Anthropic is already here. XAI is here. They're only going to get better. They're only going to get better, and
For sure.
there's a chance that those companies are going to IPO before you. And so they got to figure some things out. And Microsoft, obviously, having its close relationship with it, it's suffering from it. But I just feel like this is overblown. So would I have Microsoft here? Yeah. I think if you like it at 370, if you like it at 380, when it was down at 390 the other day, like you have to like it there too.
You have to love it.
Yeah.
And once again, they have a great relationship with Anthropic. So even if everything doesn't go well with OpenAI, they have the replacement. From what I've heard, they're very chummy. So
yeah,
you won't have to worry about much loss in Copilot and the other services that they offer from AI side. And if any company is going to figure it out, it's definitely going to be Microsoft.
Yeah. It's interesting. Like when maybe a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, it felt like each one of these was having their own like GBT, right? When we thought it was Claude, it was Amazon first, and then Microsoft had OpenAI, and then Gemini was with Google, and then now it just feels like, how can we have a piece of all of it? Like we can all work together, right? So Microsoft now is dealing with Anthropic, right? So it's an interesting place. Yes, Sam came out today and said that they had a 10% increase in monthly users. Let's see if that can continue. Let's see if they can grow that.
Let's see. Okay. Let's talk about AMD. Is AMD back in buy territory? Dropped last week as well. Pretty drastic drop on Thursday. So AMD is a stock that went up pretty dramatically from $76, 52-week low, to a 52-week high of $267. Now it's around $215. So people saw the drop. Like I said, it was a pretty drastic drop, actually. It's now the time to start buying AMD.
Yeah, I remember last year when I said telling last year that we'll get below 212, and a lot of people thought I was crazy. And here we are. That 195 area to 191 area, I like a hell of a lot. I think we're having deep corrections. Troy, you pointed this out. A lot of people are having margin calls, and there's not if the high is 267 and you got in at 234, how much room do you have it to go up if the ceiling is actually the high? A lot of people were just buying off of emotion and not based off of symmetry. So that 194 and that 195 area is a great area to buy that will put it in your favor. If we ever drop below that, those prices are reserved for Stock Club. But if we drop below that, you're good. But I think we should bounce up from here over the next 2 months. February is going to be a rougher month, but going into March and April, I think we'll be pretty strong. So if you're holding for the long term, you're good. If you're gambling over the next week, you're going to have some issues. But that was definitely a good entry to be able to get in last week around that 196, 195 area, and then by April we should be back in the 250 range.
Yeah, I think you got, again, this is one of those companies that just been a firm believer in since I think I've started buying shares at $57.
Yeah,
this is going to be one of my 1,000 share companies as well. The story hasn't changed. Like that's what it comes down to. Has the story changed? Right? Are they still in their GPU market? Are they still in the CPU market? Did they release products? Did they talk about their future? Like Lisa Su got on CNBC and told you everything you want to hear. And it still sold off. Did the story change? No. Right. And so if you look back, even when we were talking to Dave Shands about this and with the price that it was at, and people like, oh my gosh, it's left the barn. It's too high for us to get it. And then it kept going and it got up to 267. And now here we're down at 195 after their earnings. And people are like, well, I don't know. I don't know. It might be the story hasn't changed. Sometimes you got to have pullbacks so people can have new entries to get into a position before it goes on its next run. You don't want it to continue to climb, right? Like theoretically, yes, I want the stock to go to 300. I want it to go to 400. But you have to have new buy-ins, right? That's how the volume increases, by having new people come in with new money at good prices. And so when it goes to 267, it pulls back to 195. Okay, that might be a good entry point for some capital to come in, and let's see where it goes. It's at 215 now. That hasn't been 36 hours of trading.
Yeah.
Right. That's a nice turnaround.
Yeah. And you got to look at price. Last October, the high was 267.08. This January got to 265.14, which is almost the high. That's the zone to stop buying. Like it had a double top. If you look at a larger time frame, it's just pulling back from those areas. Like regardless if you believe it or not, the market obeys certain price areas. That's why when I called that Bitcoin 20 a few years ago, there's certain key levels. April last year, certain Lily prices. The market has trillions of data points into it. People know to stop buying at the high. Only the dumb money is buying at the all-time high. Even Bitcoin, if you're buying at 122, 125 and it fell apart, everyone was looking to get out at that point. The high was already set in. So just wait for great prices. 195, 196. If it ever drops to 162 mid-year through the summer, that's a pretty good load to boat price. If you're holding for 5 years, you'll be good. But you have to obey the laws of price.
Yeah, we're 2 weeks away from the Super Bowl of tech, and that's when NVIDIA reports. And that will tell us a lot about the demand. It'll tell us a lot about the AI story. And depending on how that goes, you'll see how the market will move. So we're 2 weeks away from that.
Yeah, shout out to Dave Shands, man. I gotta talk to the brother.
Yeah, listen, three-way me, old school on the FaceTime.
Hey, yo.
Pause.
Yo, we lost you again.
Damn.
Copyright.
Who is that? Holly.
But yeah, Dave Shands, he made a lot of money on the options call. And speaking of options call, EYL University next week, Troy's options call class is on Thursday.
I'm back.
That happens once a month. It's become something that has become extremely popular as far as for investor in the investing community, trader community, I should say. For people that are interested in trading options, from people that are beginning, just starting out, to high level advanced. In my opinion, the best options community online, and real world results. So make sure you mark your calendar, because they are timely. The calls are timely. Like if you watch the replay, you might have missed something. So mark your calendar next Thursday for Troy's options class.
I'm back.
And then also for EYL University, we have regional meetup groups that we've been doing. We've been going to different parts of the country, and the next part we're going to is Miami. So if you're in the Florida area, or if you just want to come to Miami, if you're NYU.
What date is that?
It is March 29th.
March 29th.
Okay, March 29th. Mark your calendars.
Yeah. Shout out to everybody in the community. Shout out to everybody, and we're just gonna give this away to them tonight. EYLU. We talked about Corning, ticker GLW, maybe a couple months ago. If you looked over the past month, I mean, it's probably been one of the best performing stocks in the S&P. Sure, had another crazy day today. It was one of the top 3 performers in the S&P. And already after hours, it's up another $3, man. Corning, we've been in that since like $83, bro.
Yeah.
So to watch it go here and understand the story, and then we broke down the story and saw who they were working with, their potential
great partnership show.
Oh my gosh. Hell of a story. And I see a lot of people put it in the community. They're up 200%. Some people have better percentage gains than me, which is incredible. I think that's incredible. So shout out to all y'all. But yeah, I'm back, man. I'm back. I'm cooking up. And it's going to be exciting. I might bring some friends with me. You never know.
That'd be great.
Yeah, you never know.
So yeah, EYL University, man. Make sure you tap into that. If you got the app, if you're on EYL University, download the app, get access. You go to EYLUniversity.com. But just remember, EYL University, man, that's we've been cooking up in there. So shout out to everybody that's been making money. That's a community of traders and people that really want to just, level up in their journey.
I see you, Jermaine. Okay, Jermaine. Yeah, VRT too. Shout out to Vertiv. We killing on that.
Yeah. What time is the options class on Thursday?
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Let's talk about Robinhood. Is Robinhood still a Bitcoin play tied to that, or does it have some level of autonomy? And is Robinhood at generational buy levels currently?
Great question. I'm still super bullish on Robinhood. To those of you in Stock Club who got it at the price that I call, great job. It's a lot of conversation on what is a Bitcoin proxy or not. Will it give you some exposure? Loosely, it's not the pure. Like iBit is a better exposure play for a cheaper price, but I love Robinhood. I think it came to a price in which I really like. So, that 77 area or $78 is a great buy-in area. Like most of the market, it's going through a little bit of tumultuous times right now, but give it 3 months and I think it would be a-okay. Like Troy said earlier, the story hasn't changed on Robinhood. I just think that the market overall and the economy is having some issues. And I'll go back to the point that I brought up at the top of the show. The credit card jumped from 13.8 billion to 1.3 trillion. Like, I don't know if most people know, just because you're doing well in the market, it doesn't mean that a lot of companies or people are. So I think the overall pullback is reflective of the fear in the economy and leadership, but I definitely love Robinhood long term. It's probably the only brokerage company I would want to invest in long term. I'm usually anti-brokerage firms.
Yeah, I think when you invest, you got to look where the future's headed. And if you speak to any young people, and even people who are beginning or learning how to invest, that's what they're using. I put it in my top picks of 2026. It hit some numbers here.
Me too.
Thursday we'll talk about it some more and show you exactly what we're going to be doing. But yeah, I love Robinhood. We talked about it in detail in terms of what they've added, how they've paid attention to their investors, how they've paid attention to the youth, the partnerships that they're making with the government potentially. They're in a nice position. Yes, obviously Bitcoin plays a lot of it because people do trade cryptocurrency on that. Predictive markets are in there now. Options trading, right?
Options.
When we start to see an uptick here in the Nasdaq, the Dow's at 50,000. So usually those are good signs for a brokerage like Robinhood, because a lot of people trade on there, and that volume brings in more money, which brings in more capital for them. So yeah, I'm bullish on them.
Yeah, and Vlad's not an entrepreneur that you want to bet against. And it's not because of our personal relationship. If we did know him, my sentiment would be the same. The way he's just innovated through the market, and the COVID test for him when they had the anti-Robinhood campaign made him a great CEO. Battle tested. I would not bet against him long term.
Yeah, been through some things.
Yep.
Yeah, Trump said the Dow is going to hit 100,000 before the end of his presidency.
Yo, that.
But it's not as ridiculous as it sounds. Is it something that is a kind of,
it's a lofty target.
It's a lofty target, yes, for sure. But it's not as crazy as it sounds. And you really think about 2 years ago, the Dow was at 38,000. So 5 years ago, the Dow was at 31,000. So I mean, it would have to double in the next 3 years. Like it's a lofty. That's a good word that you use. It's a lofty target, but it's not completely impossible. It's not like he didn't say something that was completely.
Yeah, he didn't say 250.
Yeah.
No, exactly. Yeah. What companies would he have to take out in order? When he said that was my, I don't, but he's going to have to take out. Well, not he, but he can make the call. There's some companies
that should go.
That Nike first on the chopping block, shot to Mark Barker and everyone there. Travelers may have to go. Disney, your time has come. Kudos to the new CEO. I hope you're able to right the ship. But in order to get that kind of return, especially with the way the Dow is weighted, you're going to have some blockbuster years. And regardless of your political situation or what you believe in, the spending is getting so high, it's almost unfathomable to think that this is going to be sustainable and companies are going to be able to thrive under this environment for another 3 or 4 years. So, but Disney has to go. Nike has to go immediately. Immediately. Wrap it up.
We couldn't have started with like maybe, I don't know, something else. Cisco?
Like who?
Cisco?
Oh, well. Yeah.
Sherman Williams?
You got a relationship with Nike or something I don't know about? Shout out to Nike. It's me. It wasn't Troy Rashad.
Appreciate it. Sherman Williams, we can't. Sherman Williams. What is the indicator that has on the economy? Home building, like what?
Home building. It definitely is reflective. And if you look, okay, it's on me, not Trevor Rashad, not Ernie Lee. Just this is Ian Red Panda. Sherman Williams has outperformed Nike.
Sherman Williams,
good paint.
Yeah,
maybe
quality products.
Sherman Williams joint on a Sherman Williams.
Sherman Williams, okay.
It's necessary. It's necessary.
And to those of you who watch the show at Nike, I hope that you are elevated so your vision can take Nike to new horizons. Back to you, Troy Rashad.
Thank you.
Got you.
Thank you.
Media trainer. Thank you.
MU, Micron.
Yeah, the boy wonder.
Is Micron set up for a short-term run?
Okay.
Troy, you want to go? Troy, go.
No, you go.
Short answer, yes. If we get a pullback, it would be great. Like hypothetically, if we got to 306.30 or 340, that would be a great entry. I think Micron is entering that space like AMD and NVIDIA, where any deep dip, you have to buy it. And if you are not looking to hold for long term, you're going to have deep regret in 2 or 3 years. So I know there's some conversations online on if it's going to tumble 40 or 50%. This is not one of those companies. This is not one of those companies. I would not, if you're on this train, NVIDIA, AMD, Micron, TSM, this is not the train to get off of at all.
Yeah. This is the boy wonder right here. This is again, this is a Market Mondays. Oh, okay. This is a Market Mondays favorite.
There goes Mike. Mike just does what Mike does.
How you doing?
How you doing?
Yeah, so this is a Market Mondays favorite. We talked about this when they were $83. Yeah, I'm with you. Short-term run for sure. I think what we have to watch coming up here is where that memory, high bandwidth memory, where will it live? There are some talk. Obviously, the stack is sold out up until 2027, but their hyperscaler partner was NVIDIA. The other hyperscaler partner is AMD, and so there's a stronghold there. There are some talks that Rubin might be GPU, the next GPU from NVIDIA, or the next iteration of GPUs from NVIDIA, might lead with SK Hynix inside of its GPU. So we'll see. But Micron, I think I told Shai this maybe at the top of the year. I'd say my end of the year price target for Micron was $350, and we've surpassed that.
Yeah, it's already past it. Yep.
The way I'm looking at it now, would I be surprised by end of year based on the demand and the continued demand? If it gets to 500, I would not be surprised. Yeah. I'm with Micron. I've been with Micron. If you've been with Micron, shout out to you. Put your percentage in the chat real quick. It's been a hell of a return. Shout out to everybody that had conviction and believed in the story. Now we're seeing the benefits of it in the entire memory story. So yeah, I'm with it. I'm staying here.
And in the perfect world, I can hit 600. To be very honest,
I'm glad you said that. I'm gonna send you something. I'm gonna send you something.
I got a 602.28 end of year.
I'm glad you said that.
Yep. Clip it up, my team, and in the webs. Clip.
Put in chat. Okay. All right. Let's bring our guest up. We got a guest. How are you?
Hey, how you doing? I'm trying to. Well, let me.
Good. How are you?
Myself. I'm good.
A little more.
A little.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep. There we go. Perfect. How you doing?
There we go. I'm good. How you doing?
Good.
Very good. Thank you for being here.
Well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Jessica Spalding. This is an interesting and it's an important story to tell. So shout out to Adrian Walton, our mutual friend, A Butter.
Legend.
Put us together last year and then had to reintroduce the situation recently. But long story short, Jessica is an entrepreneur who owns the Harlem Chocolate Factory, staple in Harlem, and have come across some unfortunate situations. But I'm gonna let you tell a story because you could tell it obviously better than I can. But it's an important conversation that I think we need to have as far as entrepreneurship, small businesses in our community, access to capital, brick and mortar, different things of that nature. So can you tell a story to kind of open it up?
Yeah, I mean the quick overview is we started the business in 2015 after I joined a business plan competition, and I was unemployed, and I found out about the competition while I was at the library with my kids, and I wound up winning the competition to start my business for $15,000, and but I started to learn right after that how media coverage can also tank you, because immediately that winter we went into 250 media kits given out by Sam Adams, and we were flooded with orders, and I was working out of a little 6-foot table in a commercial kitchen, and so it was just like really a really rapid growth. We went from a 2-foot table in the back of a brownstone selling our products to now being in like major tourist attractions and selling out every week. Um, and then from there, we went to the fancy food show and got selected as like the best bites at the show. And so I'm like, okay, we need to find a larger production space. At the time, Amazon reached out and wanted this huge 6-figure order. And so I'm like, let me find a production space. Let me find a production space. And I couldn't find one. And I couldn't find the capital to find a space that was big enough for us to really produce in. So we found the store. And the thing that I didn't realize I was doing was I was changing my business model. I had been doing wholesale and doing corporate gifting, and that's manageable, with a small team. The introduction of retail and brick and mortar completely shifted the model. And it feels like, okay, I'm making so much more money, or the sales are different because they're in the face. But now I have this very, very important part, especially for a Black owned business, which is customer service. I'm spending 45 minutes explaining to people why my chocolate costs more than what's at the corner store, and customer education and customer acquisition, and then distribution for each and every individual order. Where before I'm boxing 100 bars at a time and shipping it out in one box. Now Tamika want 6 chocolates, and I gotta spend a half an hour making sure every 6 chocolate is correct and goes to her, office. And it really, really, really became a struggle to manage in such a small space. Our kitchen is 200 square feet, and we were pumping out thousands of bars, and we've sustained and carried on this time, but at my sacrifice. And so um people are like, okay, but let me get you more orders. Let me get you more orders. And I'm like, you're actually low-key drowning me.
Yeah, you're crippling you. Yeah.
You actually, and trying to explain the economics of why more ordering actually has put us in a worser financial position, has been really, really difficult to communicate to people who are like, we support you, we love you. And people mad at us because you're not open. And I'm like, I have to be closed because I have to satisfy contracts that actually make us money. Um, because I'm basically breaking even in this retail space. So it's led us to really, really, really pay attention to how we need to shift the model, and do the thing that I was afraid to do in the first place, which is go after what we truly needed, which was a larger production space, and satisfying larger clients and larger contracts.
When you say larger clients, larger contracts, that's inside of the new model, I'm assuming. What else is entailing inside the new model? Because this is interesting, right? People would think if I bring in more revenue, that will help the business. But I'm like, you're saying like, hold on, we have to catch up to our obligations to actually make sure this makes sense. So what have you done internally to design the new model?
So what we did is I identified key partnerships that would allow us to scale out. So we have to reach a specific price point and a specific volume to have the profitability to grow the rest of the business, right? Like it's a different model because now our terms are net 60, net 30. I mean, I'll be trying to get due on receipt for certain partnerships, but identifying people that had enough growth for us to start at this smaller level, but then also scale with them. So I cannot mention, I asked for permission to mention it today, but I cannot mention it today, but it rhymes with All Star. You'll be seeing a new partnership this week that we're launching that again just allows us to open up doors to larger volumes because especially for chocolate, this is not like any other CPG business. The CPG business, the next break point might be 2,500, and then I can go to a co-packer. I'm competing at the co-packers. I'm competing with grocery stores. I'm competing with big brands. So my little, oh, I got a 2,500 bar order. They're like, baby, that's going to cost us $8 a bar to make for you. And so we're not really seeing a break point until we're in the high, we're in a six figure kind of like unit number. So by having these partnerships, it allows us to like really negotiate with co-packers or even if we're taking on production ourselves to increase our volume because now I have something to kind of like bet against with it when it comes to funding. I just thought that I have all these eyes on my business, I can get funding, and it's not. When I talk to venture, when I talk to investors, they're like, "You not going to grocery?" And I'm like, "No, that's where our business would go to die because that's what everybody else did, and that's why their businesses are closing." But it's a non-traditional model, and so they're like, well, prove that it works first and come back. So the partnerships are just at a larger scale for us to say like, hey, over the course of this year we're going to do 100,000 bars with this one company, or we're going to do 50,000 bars with this one company, and that gives us a little bit more leverage when it comes to proving that this has scalability versus I'm going to try to convince 50 more people to come in here per day.
Knowing everything that you know now for the entrepreneurs watching tonight, how would you identify what's the perfect business model for your business? Because we always are taught more is better, right? Scaling. I even seen a comment, someone's like, why not start a venture fund? More is not always better, right? So how, if you can go back, I know you said your business model is different, but oftentimes the different business model is the one that's going to lead the way. How would you identify what your perfect business model is?
I think that if I was able to restart, I would start with the equations that I've created now, right? Like, what's the volume of products that I need to make in order to sustain at a specific margin for not only operation, but for my own life. Like there's all the statistics. Black women, we're the fastest group of entrepreneurs, we're the, most educated, most everything. But the reality is we make the least amount of revenue out of every group. We are overeducated in degrees that don't actually make money. Like we have the lowest, our degrees are the lowest income generating degrees. So there's the other side. We're in a lot of the marketing around it. And I know for myself, my face was used as a part of many, many, many campaigns to show love and support for Black women. But I think that when I get back to the forefront of it, that I would really make sure that my business had me in it and whatever model I was choosing, made sure that there was some version of salary for me. Maybe not a big ticket item, maybe not whatever, so that I can make these decisions more clearly. A lot of this business model shifting is out of a place of no, for no better words, but desperation. Like, right? Like, I need cash in here now. This contract, they love us and everything, but they're not going to pay me for 60 days. And that's after I get all of my paperwork uploaded for them to even process the ACH. And then what happens when Sheila go have a baby and then my invoice don't get processed? Like there are real life things that can derail you. So when you're choosing a business model and when you're choosing a price point, I think that we have this idea that we want to be these like mega billionaires, but you might be more profitable at a $250,000 a year, like price point. You might be able to take more margin out of that than if you was trying to, I
Scale
feel like,
globally. Yeah.
scale globally. Like from myself, I realized we've been really boxing above our weight class, uh trying to do this direct to consumer model and reach all these individuals. That takes money. Like
Yeah.
and it takes dedicated staff, human capital. There was a real benefit to not having to pay for staffing for some other businesses. They had 500 years of free labor. I don't have that. My cousin want to come work for me. My cousin bills ain't gonna go nowhere. I have to pay her for the day. She can't volunteer. She might could volunteer at night after work, but I need somebody during the day. I need somebody to answer the phone. And AI is doing a lot to help and assist, but there are real physical human capital needs that I would consider and incorporate into whatever model I was choosing. And I think we confuse models with sales channels and thinking that like, oh, we're just adding another sales line and you're really shifting your entire model. If it requires you to operate differently, then it's a different model and it's not an additional sales channel.
Yeah, I wanted to bring you on. I want just to put it in perspective for people. So yeah, you become a staple in the community as far as Harlem Chocolate Factory, but I thought it was is important. It's like a real life case study because we bring a lot of entrepreneurs on, and a lot of times it's the stories are extremely success story. You're a success story also, but
Mhm.
you're facing hard times right now, right?
Yeah.
Like so, I think that this is real education that people can actually learn from because it's ups and downs in entrepreneurship. It's not always somebody making $1 million a month and somebody that's killing it and stuff like that. Like we've highlighted that story a lot, but I think it's also important to highlight people that may have currently be going through rough patches right now. So talk specifically about where the business is right now. I know that you're in the business, you're currently closing the physical location, right? And then also talk about how like the access to capital conversation and how you were actually on New York City's website.
Yes.
Explain that part of it.
Right. Like I do a lot of like behind the scenes work because I mean I literally needed money for myself because there's also a reality, right? Like I don't want to even participate in my own gaslighting where I pretend like there wasn't a sacrifice that went into scaling this, right? Like the original SWOT analysis said that this was capital intensive and it was going to be hard and the market is saturated and all these things and the only way in was through this niche. But what I did is I built like a platform for myself because I find myself to be honest about what it really takes to build a business. I'm not going to front for you. I'm not going to pretend like, like, oh, whatever. I've been on Oprah's favorite things. I did. And they called me twice and all of that. And I could do all of that and I could swing. But what does that do for anyone? If the
Yeah.
reality is when I go for funding, I get turned down. When I've tried to raise money for contracts, they shift the goalposts, and so I think I just got to a place of frustration because my face was on the New York City's Fund Finder. I launched this GoFundMe campaign after I got rejected for accounts receivable funding. I don't want to close our store. The goal is to
Oh, hold
keep
on.
it in operation.
Let's slow it down a little bit. Let's take
Yeah.
your face was on New York City's go explain that.
It's
Explain
called
that.
the Funds Finder, right? Like
So that's a website from New York City
it's
where
a
you
yeah.
go to get money for your business.
Yes, where you find funds. It's literally the Funds Finder.
And
So when I
you were essentially the poster child for that. Your face was
Yep.
on there,
yes,
but you
yes.
couldn't get funding.
Zero funding options available is what it said to me. And that becomes the thing, right? Like people are like, "Oh, well, you have all these connections, like you good, like you could get funding whenever." And I'm like, "Yeah, you know where the funding comes from? Me." I keep
Yeah.
my salary in that business every year. Like, we are still here at my sacrifice. And so people were like responding to our GoFundMe by saying, like, well, you on Funds Finder. Or there's like, hey, I found the link to the New York City Funds Finder. Go on there. Like, oh, wait, your face is on there. So I kept getting it and kept getting it. So I literally made the video to show like there were no funds. Like,
Mhm.
it was zero from 250K plus to less than 10,000. There was no funds.
So how did they respond to? Have they responded to this? Like, what's the
Mhm.
update? Obviously, you brought this to their attention. Obviously, you're getting hit up, and it's like, yo, this press is actually working negative for me because people think I got it. They're not likely to help if they think I got it. It's just, unfortunately, how have they responded since you brought it to their attention? Obviously, they put you there. They know it.
They called me to told me that they took the picture down
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that I should find some grants to apply for.
Which grants are not the easiest thing. For those you don't know, they just don't fall out the sky.
Why did they
It
put your
really,
picture up? Why did they put the picture up there to begin with?
I think that Black women are the marketing. I think that it's very, very easy. I think that's the way in to prove that you like show support for the community. And I think
Mhm.
Black women sometimes are very, very, and I can't, let me not talk for all Black women. I think that there are times that I've approached entrepreneurship happy to be invited, and
Mhm.
it's encouraged in air that I'm easy to take advantage of. And so I snapped and I went online and I told the whole world that there was no funds. Because
The truth.
normally
Yeah.
I'm quiet and I don't
Mhm.
say nothing because maybe it could help someone else. And Black women are very, very amenable. And, that we get this rap about our attitudes, but I've seen women cry after haircuts and when their nails is messed up. So we don't say anything. And I said something this time. So they took the picture down, still no funds. They connected me to another funder who had already rejected funding me, but I guess people are moving now, but it's like a 8 to 12 week process. And I'm like, I needed money years ago. And
Mhm.
so it's just literally like, I would never want to turn to my community that I already know is facing things to like beg for money. But this where we're at in this, and especially on the precipice of these partnerships, I'm like, nah. I've taken all the L's that I'm going to take, and I can only come to people and be transparent about where we are and what we have going on, and ask for some assistance, because my goal ultimately is to help my community. Like,
Mhm.
this ain't Jessica Spaulding's chocolate factory. This is Harlem's. And so I feel like I'm just a steward of the opportunity. And so it's worth the fight and the embarrassment, because somebody just left a comment before I came on here telling me I should stop begging and all different type of losers and whatever. I took a screenshot of you and you in my file of all the people who ever talked about me, because I plan to come back around the block. But
You from my tribe. I
Yeah,
feel
she
you.
really from Harlem. She really from Harlem.
Mhm.
no, for real, for real.
For real.
Like, I grew up on 111 between 5th and Lenox. I've lived in Harlem my whole life. Stop playing with
Lennox
me. Y'all be
Ave.
talking very crazy on this internet, and I'm
Yo,
trying to
Yep.
be zen.
stop
But
playing on
yeah,
Beyonce internet, please.
please. When you
For
never
those
did nothing.
yeah,
Mm,
but a lot of people are going through pain and take it out on
yeah,
others.
yeah.
To have a successful business, what pushback were they giving you for not giving funding? For those who are looking to pitch, what
Yeah.
roadblocks were they putting in front of you to tell you no?
Uh, I will tell you that the amount of goal posting that I have faced during this. So it's like when I first started and I was in, there was money at the bottom. When I had the sad story, the single mom that, I have my 2 kids, and I don't have my life together, and I'm going to, try to find a job. They was throwing money at me. I got a
Mhm.
micro loan when I had no job. So
Yeah.
it built in me that, like, okay, well, if I prove that I have whatever, I'm gonna get it. Then they gave me 10,000 and I paid it back. And then they gave me 20,000 and I paid it back. And then it was time to like put your money where your mouth is. And I'm like, yo, I want to build out this facility. I think that we can really like grow contracts. I found a way into this industry. Then it was
Mhm.
like, ooh,
Too
we don't
risky.
know if you too risky. Like, ooh, what? You're gonna do what? What do you? Everything I just said I was gonna do. The things that I did them. And so the goalpost moves. It was get a contract and come back. Come with a contract. Yeah, but how do we know it sells? Like airports. Like people don't even spend money in airports. Huh? Okay. Hotels. I mean, are people even staying at hotels anymore? Is there any like what? Then I'm like, all
Spin
right,
cycle.
let me
Yep.
come back with the invoice. I'm gonna come back with the invoice. Yeah, but you didn't ship the product yet. So, this doesn't really fall under accounts receivable. You need growth capital. Okay, well, you look at the growth, give me the capital. Yes, but what we would really want is the contract. I can't get the contract until I give them the product and that they see that it sells. Yeah, so after it sells, then we'll do it. But we know it sells because it's been selling because I got 10 years of historical data that it sells. What? And that's when I realized, like, oh, everybody's lying to me. Y'all
Yep.
hate me. And let me just stop. And I just did the GoFundMe and I was like, here, boom, like, let me do this. And then I'm going to double back and charge everybody twice. And I have a list. I want you to know you're all in my little black book.
Allegedly.
Yeah, we're just trying not to make the
list
list.
is the list
That's
is
it.
vital. So,
This is like
Not in
sounding
that
like
way,
this.
but just like, because these same people, when the cameras come out, I know what y'all are going to do. Y'all want to pull up. Y'all want to, oh, let me take a picture.
I'm
I
so
know who
proud of
helped
you.
me.
Yep.
I'm so proud, and we knew you was going to make it. I want you to know, I know who all you are, and it's me and 50. You will not get in. You will be standing outside. You will not get in. I am very nice. I'm very sweet. I don't have, no. But
We're gonna pray for them now. We're gonna pray for them.
so Harlem, Harlem,
absolutely.
We're
Harlem
gonna pray for
Chocolate
them.
Factory is definitely a staple in the community. Explain the GoFundMe.
Yeah.
Explain the GoFundMe. What's it for? What's the
Yeah.
goal?
Yeah.
And explain that for the
So
audience.
so what we're trying to do is we have like some specific debts that we need to clear in order to just free up cash flow. Then on the other side, there are deposits that we need to make immediately in order to fulfill these contracts. And the if we wait, we're going to be outside the window and we're not going to be able to fully take advantage of them. And so the GoFundMe, we're trying to raise 50K. If we could get to 100, y'all would literally be saving my little life. But 50 is what we need to like really make these specific investments to have that leverage the way that we need to for our cash flow and really not be waiting for 60 days for the invoices to clear and be able to go out after even more contracts.
And what's the website or what's the Instagram? How can people, if they're
Yes.
interested, where do they go?
You can go to harlemchocolatefactory.com and we have the link there. And then on our Instagram, it's Harlem Chocolate Factory. The link is in our bio. Ultimately, I want to create an entity with community shares. Like I'm still researching on how to do that and how to set up the structure because I want the community to have shares in it. This is the temporary need that we have. That will help us bridge. And yeah,
Well, thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
thank you for
appreciate
having
you.
me.
Greatly appreciate your story, and I'm going to encourage everybody to try to give what they can because it's important. We
Absolutely.
trying to save a Black business,
Yeah.
a vital part of our community. We understand that entrepreneurship is a real gateway, and you talk about businesses. It employs people. It gives level of inspiration, hope, and is the whole economic system that's done. And when you think of Harlem, you think of the mecca of Black culture going back from 1920s Harlem Renaissance and Sugar Hill and all of that. So, it's the season of giving. Some people say Christmas is the season of giving, but it's Black History Month, so I feel like February is the season of giving. And we wanted to highlight you just to for educational purposes, but also we have a platform, so we try to do good with our platform when we can, as far as to help people that are have some level of need, because we all going to need help at some point in time. And it's a good story as far as what you've been able to accomplish, and would love to see, you know, the trajectory, you know, change on the situation. So yes, go to HarlemChocolateFactory.com if you're interested, and we will definitely stay in contact. Wish you all the best, and thank you for
Thank you.
coming and telling your story. Greatly appreciate
We
it.
appreciate you.
Thank you.
We're
Thank
gonna
you so
support you.
much.
Thank you for
Thank you. I
sharing with us.
appreciate
Thank
you.
you.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Business
Right.
isn't easy.
Yo.
I commend her honesty for all of the people who may be watching in the comments and like, why don't you approach it this way? It's not just about the pitch and the product. Rashad just told you there are certain entrepreneurs and CEOs who get afforded 1 million failures with businesses that don't work.
Mm-hmm.
For those of you say, hey, she should go to Shark Tank. You be the shark. If I've made you money, I hate that. Yo, why don't you go here? Why don't you give it? If I've made you money, go
Because we
give something
here.
to her.
That's why.
Yes.
Because we're here.
Like I
Yes.
said, you know,
That's the reason why, man. It's a telltale sign
Of the times.
how stuff works in our culture, man. Like we're not getting the funding, and even when we have the idea and we have the product, she says she has 10 years of data of sales, right?
Yes.
The goalpost moves, then it's the next thing, and it's the next thing, and even when you get paid, yo, it's net 60. That's tough, man. Like we always
That's
talk about, we joke
heartbreaking.
about it, like, yo, I need net now
Net
because I
now,
don't have
yep.
time for net 90, because net 90 turns into net 120, and then 120
Yep.
turns into like, now I got to get my lawyers, and now I have people to pay, contracts to fulfill. How do I keep my business running?
It's
That
a
happens
roadblock, gridlocks your
over and
business.
over. It's ridiculous. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
especially having
And even on our side, but they're afraid of the retaliation from in Washington.
yeah, 100%. And just to have her on the face of the website, that's crazy. So yeah, give what you can if you can. But you know, it's one of these things we got to help each other out. And
sure.
entrepreneurship business is vitally important. And brick and mortar businesses is hard. You know, that's one of the
Tough.
reasons we never really started a brick and mortar business, but they are essential on a certain level. They do provide a certain service. So man, there's so many businesses that are going out of business. Like, you know, like I said, I think that's why it was important, because we're gonna highlight Don Peoples and we're gonna highlight billionaires, but there's a lot of black businesses that will not make it to the summer. There's a lot of black businesses that, and we already are underserved as far as entrepreneurship are concerned. And it's pretty alarming. And number one reason why most businesses fail is because they don't have access to capital. It's a real
Capital
thing.
by design.
It's a real thing. So, man, it's a lot of businesses. It's tough times right now, man. It's a recession out here. It's a lot of businesses that's going belly up. What that means is that employees, they're unemployed.
Yep.
The entrepreneur is no longer able to buy from other entrepreneurs, because entrepreneurs patronize other entrepreneurs. There's a supply chain in any business. So it's a domino effect. And yeah, it's an unfortunate situation for sure. But that's one of the things we always try to do, even with InvestFest, you know, vendor marketplace. You know, those is over 400 businesses. We don't get a cut of any of that. You know, that's people just selling their products, food trucks that line up. We try to highlight, we've highlighted so many different businesses and entrepreneurs, and, you know, just we do what we can. We have a platform. We
Be a
have some
helping
level
hand.
of influence. So we try to do what we can, even outside of education, just helping people, like, you know, highlighting people. You never know what that could lead into in the future. Sometimes in life, you just got to do good things, because it could potentially come back to you, or maybe doesn't come back to you, but it still helps people. If you can help somebody, why would you not help them?
Yep. And you never know when you may be in need.
Yeah,
A lot of karmic retribution is real. Regardless of what you believe in, you have to put out the energy in the world that you want to receive. And in light of it, regardless of race, every business sector is going through hell. I'm telling you, like, Figma went public, great company, down 80-something%. Like, we're seeing, so if these companies are drawing down 40 and 50%, what do you think the average business is doing? And like you said, then they'll play the game of not giving you the money for 200 days, but the window to execute on the product to the store that you needed, that window's now gone.
Sure. And she has business. She has a book of business.
Yes.
She just needs more time to fulfill the actual book of business. And it's tough when you don't get the capital from other to fulfill that book of business. So it's a tough proposition, man. Yeah. It's just, when we talk about some of these businesses, I was watching a firm and what they're trying to do now where they're allowing you to pay your rent in a bi-weekly manner. Like,
yep.
It's just like capital
the signs
is
are all there.
Yeah. That buy now, pay later is now turned into home, which is
scary.
Yeah.
Spooky hours. But fight the good fight. Fight the good fight. Entrepreneurs out there. Yeah. Every dollar helps. But if you're an entrepreneur, you're going through tough times right now, just stay the course. Stay focused. Yep. It's needed. Entrepreneurship is needed.
For sure.
Yeah, but before we get out of here, real quick, we got some earnings this week. We talked about Robinhood. They report after market tomorrow. After market closes, we got Cloudflare tomorrow. Wednesday, we got who's on here? Is that we just talked about Cisco. Vertiv reports before the market opens. Shopify reports. Yep. Thursday, we got Arista, which you talked about. Applied Materials reports. So there's still some big companies out here. Tulsa is a company we talked about. DraftKings. I'm interested in seeing what they did. Nibius reports. I think this is their first one. Nibius, this is their first?
Yeah, I think so. Yep.
First and second. So yeah, be interested to see how they're doing in terms of that data center, AI rental, GPU story.
Somebody said, I wish churches would do this with their congregation. That's a good idea.
I agree 1,000%. Praise God.
100%. Pick a business a month. The building's already up.
Hello.
It's already up.
No,
we're being real. We got a whole campus.
Yo, you have
got a whole campus. Look like Indiana University.
Yo, you go every month, you looking at the thermometer moved. You like, the thermometer ain't moving 4 years, man. What's going on?
The building
do something different, yo.
The building has been funded.
That thermometer is crazy.
That's a fact.
Praise God, man. Praise God.
It's an Atlanta church did it. I love that. I just wish more would do it that have the means to do so.
Praise God.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I think did that. Jamal Bryant. Shout out to him.
Shout out to him.
He did do that. Shout out to him. But yeah, they definitely, yeah. All right.
Yo, y'all be good, man. Blackout Wednesday, 9:00, EYL.
Super toxic.
Thursday, 12 o'clock. Saturday, right, man.
Super toxic.
Spread love to your loved ones. Spread love. Yo, they said next year. Now we got a real dilemma. Super Bowl is February 14th next year. How they play that?
That's smart. 2 for 1.
Super Bowl. No dilemma.
Yeah,
businesses are going to suffer. A lot of restaurants are going to suffer because ain't nobody trying to go to a restaurant on Super Bowl.
And it's in LA next year. Super Bowl LA.
Oh, what a time.
Yeah, 2028 Atlanta, get ready.
Oh, wow.
Super Bowl headed your way, 2028. Yeah.
And I want to send thoughts and prayers to well, let me first congratulations to Ari performing at Super Bowl, EC. I see you, proud of you. I want to give my thoughts and prayers to Chris Senegal on the loss of his son. That's heartbreaking. Prayers to you, man.
Christine also for the loss of his father.
His pops, his dad passed away.
What?
Yeah, his dad passed away. Lil John lost his son this weekend.
Bro.
Yeah, it's tough, man.
Yeah, Chris Senegal, hold your head. Chris Sain, hold your head for sure, man. Definitely two people that we did stuff with, had them on Earn Your Leisure, Invest Fest, all types of stuff like that. So yeah, man, definitely two different perspectives as far as losing a parent and losing a son, but neither one is easy. So condolences, thoughts and prayers to both of those brothers, and yeah, Little John as well. I don't know the brother, but that's a very unfortunate situation. So yeah.
And it's still happy birthday to Chuck. Chuck, what's good? He hit me up the other day.
Today's his birthday?
Tomorrow's birthday. Fee, what up?
Chuck,
happy birthday, Alicia.
Happy birthday, Taylor, man.
Love and blessings to everybody. Y'all be good, be safe, love each other, spread love. Sometimes come back. We all we got, but we all we need. You know that. Love is love.
Big facts. DC, see you soon.